What's up, everybody? It's Dave Thompson checking with you live here on Beyond the Buzzer for August 30th, 2020. We're live here on, as you see in the corner, we kind of change this up a little bit. You kind of move around. You got to look good. I-95 Sports, as you see in the corner right behind Kyle's right hand shoulder. Also, Facebook Live, YouTube, and anywhere you hear the sound of my voice. And speaking of Kyle, for the next hour, myself and the man to the right of me, the student of the game from the three-point conversion, my colleague, as well as my good buddy, Mr. Kyle Nash, and I will talk about all things, everything sports, with a little bit of humor to it. What's going on, my friend Kyle?
Hey, I'm loving it. Listen, man, the background looks great. And listen, the background is the same way I like my football, black and blue all over.
Exactly. Because, big shout out to our good friends at Valor, as you see behind my left hand shoulder, VALLR.us is the best location you're going to find anything when it comes to marketing, music, GIFs, anything you want to do to promote your company, brand, music, artist. And you want to go check them out, my main man Jay Waddell, the entire crew over there, and also our good friends at Mentality Barbershop at 2611 Pine Hills Road in Orlando, Florida. If you're looking for a haircut in the Central Florida area, go check out our boys over and ladies over at Mentality Barbershop. Tell them we sent you. All right, Kyle, we took last week off. We took last Thursday off. For a lot of different reasons. But with everything going on in America, it was a much needed day off to get things in perspective. Mm-hmm. But now with things being back in order, we go from having what was going on in America to what hasn't gone on in America in the last 36 to 48 hours. Before we start and get into it, our condolences. Things happen in threes. Well, in this case, it happened in fours. In the basketball world, we lost three wonderful members of the basketball community. First, Arizona head coach Lute Olson, former head coach Lute Olson, passed away. I think it was 88 years old was it Thursday night, Kyle? I want to say it was, because everything happened so quick.
Yeah, I think it was
Thursday night, Olson. Growing up, Lute Olson, I remember watching Lute Olson coach. He coached some of my favorite players growing up. My favorite player growing up as a child, besides Michael Jordan, which who didn't love Michael Jordan, actually was Damon Stoudemire. Yep. I was always a huge Mighty Mouse fan. Going back to Arizona, playing in the days of Coach K basketball in the Sega Genesis, he wore that number 20, didn't win a national championship, but him and Khalid Reeves is one of my favorite backcourts of all time. He coached so many pros, won a national championship with Mike Bibby and company. Was one of the most winningest head coaches, also one of the best people that you're going to find in basketball. Then on Saturday morning, the passing of Cliff Robinson, former NBA veteran. He played for 5 different teams, most notably the Portland Trail Blazers and Phoenix Suns. He also played with the Detroit Pistons, the Golden State Warriors as well, too, throughout his stops throughout the NBA. Actually, the New Jersey Nets, not Brooklyn, that's New Jersey Nets, in his career. And, Uncle Cliffy was one of the guys that was well known as a 6-man, two-way guy that hit 3-pointers all over the floor, could defend, can play multiple positions. Man, Kyle, if he was in this day and age right now, he'd definitely be an all-star. He was also almost a 20-point-a-game scorer one year in Phoenix as well, too. Mm-hmm. Then, this morning we had the passing of legendary Georgetown coach John Thompson. Yeah. John was not only just a larger life person because he was almost 6'10". John was one of the reasons why that people paid attention to the Big East in the 80s. If you know anything about college basketball or want to start learning about college basketball in the 80s with the Big East was must-watch television. I mean, Monday nights on ESPN, when the Big East was really called the Big East. We're talking Syracuse, St. John's. You're talking Georgetown. You're talking Seton Hall. Before they started adding all these different teams, all these different markets. Right. When you had Pitt, you had Providence. It was really an East Coast conference. Villanova, John Thompson, and those coaches were all larger life figures. And John Thompson was the largest of them all. Besides winning a national championship,
did he have on the NBA as well? A lot of his disciples ending up going pro and making quite the impact.
I mean, if you look at the lineage tree going back to Patrick Ewing, you also have Alonzo Mourning to Dikembe Mutombo. He was the one that brought Allen Iverson in and made turned Allen Iverson into the star. He was a winner. He won a national championship with Patrick Ewing, with Georgetown. Fell short against the Tar Heels, and he just coached. It was such a legendary figure, and his post-game press conferences and just his demeanor was one of a kind.
Yeah.
So the basketball community lost three of outstanding individuals. And then you go to, I'm going to say a national treasure. Chadwick Boseman was more than just T'Challa from Black Panther. He played Jackie Robinson at 42, played Thurgood Marshall. He played so many different roles. He passed away at the age of 43 on Friday night due to a long battle with colon cancer, which happened, I think, in 2006. He was diagnosed with stage 3 in 2016. It impacts so many different ways. And like I said, to me, he was more than T'Challa. Like, you go back, I still haven't seen his last movie, Five Bloods, which is on my hit list to watch this week. It's on Netflix.
Yeah.
Spike Lee movie, his last one he filmed. And Kyle, this man filmed 9 movies with stage 3 going into stage 4 colon cancer, and no one knew about it except for the people.
And I mean, think about the icons that he portrayed, non-fictional. I mean, again, most people know him as T'Challa, and let's be honest, Black Panther was a cultural phenomenon. And granted, while it focuses on the Black community, obviously, there's a lot of other positive things going on in that movie. For example, Demos and I on Hilarity by Default have made an argument that it portrays women better than even Captain Marvel does in a lot of ways. It's just for him to be a part of so many of those culturally significant pieces of art is a fantastic thing, regardless of, God, it's hard to really measure how much impact he really had. There are a lot of people who like his portrayal of Jackie Robinson better than any other. He portrayed James Brown, for goodness sake.
Thurgood Marshall.
Was that Thurgood Marshall?
Yeah, I mean, like, and to me, you try to figure out which one was his best performance because they all were immensely, like you said, it was transformational. And the fact of
about the best for me, I don't mean to interrupt you, Danny. Worrying about the best for me is a trivial conversation. In this case, we should worry less about quality, but notice the quantity of quality that took place here.
And the thing is, the biggest thing you get from his passing was the fact of when you go, Kyle, we're pretty sure everybody knows somebody who's been through some form of cancer in some kind of way. And for a person to film 9 movies in 5 years, going through, and people know, and he did his own stunts in these movies. Like Black Panther, there was a story that he did his own stunts. Kelly Carter of the Undefeated was telling a story about how they were filming the scene where it was supposed to be, I think, in Asia. He practices one scene 20 different times. We spin kick somebody, and he was doing his own stunts. And to be going through that, going through chemotherapy, going through the treatment, and to me, I'm gonna get to your second comment. So let's have a second on this one. To me, any person that goes through that, like, no matter what you go through, is like, can you imagine just going through that and then keeping a smile on your face and just doing the things he does? And he impacted so many people in so many different ways. And it's like, it makes you want to get up and realize, you know what? If he can do it, I can do it too. Like, if I don't feel like getting up to do something one day, if he can do it, it's like, why am I complaining? And he's survived by his lovely wife and his children. Kyle, I'm going to take the floor on this one, and then we'll get started with the show.
You mentioned everything. I mean, I'm not going to harp too much on it. Obviously, it's news by now that we've all been touched by. It's hit me pretty deep in itself. I mentioned Hilarity by Default. I focus a lot on the entertainment side myself. And everything you just mentioned, Danny, while also being able to keep it out of the public eye, not only does that speak to his ability, but rather the people around him whom he inspired. I mean, the story starts with Denzel Washington anonymously financing him through school, right, through a program at Howard. And to make such an impact to such a great extent so quickly and have as much support as he did from his peers. It's a tribute, man. There's a reason why you see so much of the Wakanda salute out there now, and it's well deserved.
Yes. Big shout out, like I said, rest in peace to Chadwick Boseman, Lute Olson, John Thompson, and Clifford Robinson. So, all right. So before we turn this to a full hour of just going into memories, well, there's a lot of memories going on, and we're going to start with the NFL. So the memory of Leonard Fournette as a member of the actual Jaguars ended this morning. Leonard Fournette was tried to be given away, put on clearance, and couldn't even clear the clearance rack in the NFL spectrum. What am I talking about? Leonard Fournette was released today by the Jacksonville Jaguars after the team couldn't even get a fifth or sixth or a late round pick for him at any cost. Jacksonville did not pick up his option for next season, so he's an unrestricted free agent, which kind of might have shot them in the foot when it came to trade talks. Jacksonville wanted to go in a different direction anyway, but Kyle, you cut your starting running back 2 weeks before the season. On top of that, they finally had the ability to trade Yannick Ngakoue. You trade your star pass rusher to the Minnesota Vikings for, I think, a second and fifth round pick. Kyle, does Jacksonville know what Jacksonville's doing right now?
At this point, I really think what Jacksonville fans need to do is basically understand this season as a throwaway. I would call it a tank, but I don't know that the Jacksonville front office is calculating enough to execute such. So don't expect them trying to get clever for Trevor, although, hey, they may naturally get there with that top pick. And all the stuff's going out here. First of all, let's be clear about something. People want to put all of this on Leonard Fournette, quote, underperforming. I mean, it was injury issues mostly. Everyone seems to forget he broke 1,000 yards as a rookie in an offense that wasn't necessarily stellar at its point in time anyway. Let's be clear about that. But I think the major issue with Leonard Fournette is that team's been so bad, you don't really have a good barometer on what he could be yet. All you know for a fact really right now is that he's not Barry Sanders. Okay, and Barry Sanders had a lot of trouble lifting a bad team and a bad franchise out of the hole. I think another thing that's working against him is the position at this day and age. All right, one thing that Le'Veon Bell's situation did was further accelerate the devaluation of the running back position. That's just, I don't know if somebody wants to argue that. That's cool. By the way, they won't pick up Darius Geis there, Cortland. That'll be on the Dallas Cowboys to probably do, but that's a whole other conversation. As I know it's popular right now to kind of dump on Fournette, and I'm not here to say he's been an elite running back, but I think he can make a difference, right? I think he's a Kenyon Drake type. Maybe he can't catch the football as well, but he's a type that's underappreciated where he's at. Running backs being a luxury rather than a necessity nowadays makes sense why they don't want to pay him that $4 million that's left on his contract. But I'm curious to see two things here, Danny. Will the Jags be smart enough to get clever for Trevor and then rebuild from there? Because, listen, let's be clear. They got rid of Coughlin last offseason. They're going to clean house completely next year. Excuse me. And then I really want to see where Fournette lands because I think he can make an impact. Just for an example, can you imagine? I'm just playing games here for now. What about Cam Newton and Leonard Fournette in the same backfield? Are you going to sneeze at that? I'm not.
No. Big shout out to our good friend Alex Fleming down in O-Town. Where's Fournette's new home? So, Kyle, to answer your question, can he catch the ball in the backfield? He caught 76 passes last year. Yeah. Surprisingly, he caught 76 passes last year. The issue with Leonard Fournette the issue with Jacksonville's team was Leonard Fournette couldn't get in the end zone. Why? Leonard Fournette played 36 games in his 3 years in Jacksonville and scored 19 touchdowns total. Aaron Jones scored 19 touchdowns by himself in 2019 for the Green Bay Packers. How bad was it? Leonard Fournette had almost 270 carries, Kyle, with only 3 rushing touchdowns last year.
But I think I'll put it this way. If you have Nick Foles and Gardner Minshew at quarterback, they know the ball is going to get handed off. I mean, I'm going to call that what it is.
Well, so where does Leonard Fournette fall? And that's a good question. Well, I have 3 teams that would make perfect sense. Number one, there is his connection with the LA Rams. Why? One of his close friends is the starting cornerback, which is Jalen Ramsey.
I mean, true.
Listen, Leonard Fournette could turn into the player that Todd Gurley was and split the carries with one of our favorites, Darrell Henderson, and split the carries out for LA. Landing spot number 2 is a team that has no name, the Washington football team.
That would be interesting as well. I agree.
As Cortland mentioned earlier, what about Darius Geis? Well, their starting running back's Adrian Peterson. All right, nothing against the kid from Stanford, Bryce Love. Love, but here's the thing: he's coming off an injury.
Right.
Leonard Fournette at 1 year at like $2 to $3 million doesn't sound like a bad idea, especially if Adrian Peterson. Can you imagine having to deal with AP and then tackling Leonard Fournette all the same game?
Yes, I could. We saw it in Jacksonville when Fred Taylor and Maurice Jones-Drew were in the same backfield. Hi, Precious.
Hey, yes, exactly. Hey, Precious. My man Manny Robinson said, "What the Kansas City Chiefs?" I don't know about the Chiefs because they're so hot.
But boy, that would be a deep backfield, wouldn't it?
Yeah, but the thing is, though, they're not, I think they have enough running backs between the Williamses and Hilaire. I don't know if that's going to fit. But here's a third team that might make a little bit of sense here, Kyle. Think about this here. All right. I like the Chicago Bears here. And I'll tell you why. You got Tariq Cohen in the backfield that can catch the ball. All right. David Montgomery he got hurt in the preseason. You play a division where you have to run the ball against physical defenses. As we saw, Minnesota got Ngakoue, and Minnesota's pass rush is one of the best in the league. Okay. You got to deal with Detroit with Matt Patricia. I think there'll be a much better defense than they were last year. Even though Darius Slay's gone, I think there'll still be a much better defense than they had last year. And Green Bay is Green Bay. And we saw in the NFC Championship game last year, they could be ran through like Tecmo Bowl. Okay. Cold weather games need cold weather backs and big bruising backs. Fournette can catch the ball. His blocking is a little suspect, but Mitchell Trubisky's running for his life anyway. What's the quarterback's best friend? The running game. I like Leonard Fournette in Chicago, and if not, Kyle, maybe the team that you're wearing, not the hat, but the jersey in San Francisco. Kyle, what do you think?
I did think about San Francisco, and I mean, there's been a lot of talk about the Steelers as well. But I'll put it to you this way, and I'm seeing the thing about Damien Williams opting out in KC. That's good, James. I'm just not sure that the KC office is going to want to deal with the contract and bringing in another guy like that. And like I said, hey, if he does, I'd love to see it. I love the fit in San Fran. I really do. I like it. But when it comes to Fournette, man, I don't see him going back to another bad quarterback situation that already features a guy he played with, by the way, and Nick Foles. That's the only like, it makes football sense. I'm telling you, there's a piece of politics that I would be surprised if he went to Chicago with that. Now, then again, if they're willing to pay that $4 million, maybe he'll overlook it.
Well, he cleared waivers. So at $4 million, nobody touched him on with the $4 million waivers. So he cleared waivers around 5 o'clock this afternoon. So guess what? It's first come, first serve. Another team, Kyle, that could use him maybe could be the Seattle Seahawks. Chris Carson is coming off a season-ending ACL injury last year. Might not be 100%. That could be – listen, what's Russell Wilson's best friend is a good running back. I mean, he's made running backs before. And like you said, it's really about what role he's in. Like I said, I just thought about Seattle a second ago. Now, on the Jacksonville end, what is Jacksonville doing? Hell, I don't know what Jacksonville's doing. But what I do know is if you play fantasy football, Kyle, Bud Light and Gardner Minshew have something for you. Why? If you take Gardner Minshew with your first round pick and can prove it, Bud Light, the Bud Company, is actually handing you a 12-pack of beer. Listen, maybe he has something to do with Fournette being gone to help his fantasy numbers. All right, I'm not sure. But what Jacksonville's going to have to do is they're going to have to turn their offense to a passing attack now. Minshew's going to be running for his life around their decent offensive line. But you got DJ Chark, who was a Pro Bowl last year with 1,000 yards. You also have Tyler Eifert, who they brought in the offseason from Cincinnati. They also have Levexa Chevault from Colorado. They drafted in the second round. So they got some decent weapons around him. I'm not saying they're world beaters. Okay, DJ Chark is going to catch, and then D.D. Westbrook in the slot. I'm not saying DJ Chark's going to be not catching double teams all year, but they got some decent weapons.
It's not the weapons that concern me, Danny. It's the past 2 years, the O-line has fallen to one very difficult football parable. You can't help the club in the tub. And the only one who's seen it more than that, I would argue, is Miami. But they're hoping to solve that problem themselves. With the Jags, they're paying a lot of guys who are thoroughly injury prone on that offensive line. I mean, say what you will there.
The question about Philadelphia was brought up. Listen, but the thing is with Philly, I get what they're trying to say because when they had LeGarrette Blount, they were a Super Bowl team. I get it. They won a Super Bowl a year, and they haven't really had the 1-2 punch. But give Miles Sanders a chance, okay? He came on the second half of the season. If Fournette's there around week 3 or 4, then I'd say look at him. But if you're bringing in Fournette's going to be looking to get the ball. And remember, he's one of those running backs is a rhythm running back. He's got to get consistent carries. He's not one of those guys that can get you 8 to 10 carries and be good. He's going to have to get the ball about 14, 15, 16 times, and that takes away from Miles Sanders' ability. And besides, Philadelphia's got way more issues than a running back right now with Carson Wentz getting hurt with soft tissue damage, a soft tissue injury.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you got Jalen Reagor, your first-round wide receiver, getting hurt, attempting to tackle Jalen Hurts on an interception return.
You're saying a lot of good stuff there, Danny, but again, it depends entirely. Singletaries. Cortland, I thought you were a good football. What are you talking about? I can't with you right now. Listen.
He's okay. He's solid.
Yeah, I don't know about pedestrian. That's ridiculous. But what I will say is this. If Fournette is somebody who can buy into a system, who has realized that they're in a position or that he's in a position to have success as a committee back, that could go well. That could work in Philly, but that's a big if. I mean, I'm with you. I think for right now, Fournette is trying to prove himself. I know of at least one former Jacksonville writer that was doing everything he could to call Fournette a bust. I don't know how you can tell you somebody's a bust when they got 1,000 yards as a rookie, but okay. That's funny, James. But listen, you'll know when Danny's throwing shade. That's not what happened. Oh, there's Rodney. Here we go. I have nothing to do with that. I want the rest of it. But,
I'm being good tonight.
I think Fournette could actually make some sense in Atlanta potentially. Not for nothing.
I don't think Atlanta's a good landing spot for him because I think Ito Smith has taken the role as the power back in Todd Gurley. I don't think that's a good fit in Atlanta. There's not enough carries in Atlanta. Atlanta's more of a throwing team anyway. That's true. Like I said, you have Todd Gurley and you have Ito Smith. I think you're fine in Atlanta. Now, what could get interesting that maybe Fournette waits and to see if somebody gets hurt. This is a COVID year. This could be a year where somebody gets hurt and he gets paid. Otherwise, Kyle, if he's looking to be a backup, a good place to be one is the New York Jets. Remember, they lost both their running backs due to injuries, and they need some kind of protection behind Le'Veon Bell.
That's a good point.
Just saying. All right, so the question, Kyle, is: are we excited for football? Kyle, do you realize the NFL season starts in less than 10 days, less than 2 weeks, and I don't know if I'm ready. I don't feel it. Maybe the NBA playoffs has taken away from it. The fact of it's still COVID, or you know what? There is no preseason. Correct. That's why I'm not excited. Kyle, are you excited? Tell me why. If you're not excited, I know you're a footballer.
Oh yeah, and the reason, when I'm reminded, I'm like, oh yeah, football. But I mean, there's so much going on. Like for me personally, it's tough because I'm not going to any press boxes this year because I don't want to get my mom or my kids sick. So there's that for me. But I think what you said about the combination of the NBA playoffs and no preseason. Listen, Danny Thompson, by now I've usually written at least articles on at least 2, if not 3 preseason games, probably coming up on the 4th here in the next couple nights, right? So I have not had that kickstart yet and that mental preparation, the mental challenge of having to figure out how I'm going to both write the 4th NFL preseason game and UCF season opener, okay?
Exactly. And it's crazy because when you look at the NFL right now, we didn't mention Derwin James of Los Angeles Chargers being out basically the season with an injury, and his injury is going to cost him 6 to 8 months. He had knee surgery. That's going to kill the Chargers right then and there. Well, here's.
I don't know about all that, Danny. It's not like they share, a division with like a world-beating quarterback. Wait. Oh, but no. It's okay. I mean, it'd be different if he was in the defensive back. He's the same thing. Yeah, they're screwed.
Yeah, basically. Well, here's the thing. They're still better than the Raiders, but we'll still continue. All right. He'll be used to Atlanta, no manufacturer required, no fans. Yes, Rodney. Yes, he'll be used to Atlanta. Blah. Yeah, okay, go sit somewhere. All right. Now, with Derwin James' injury,
12 team. They'll win 4 games, maybe.
Maybe 5. All right. So yeah, Derwin James is out for the second. Is going to be gone for the second part of the second year of the season in a row. Um, it's getting to be that Cortland might be right. That's scary because Derwin James is phenomenal. When he's healthy, Kyle, he's a top 3 safety in the league. Like he is super.
Hasn't been in the league long enough to get that label put on him. Cortland's coming in with a little bit of haterade tonight.
I don't know. I kind of agree with him on that one. We said Bob Sanders. Bob Sanders was a very, very good safety, but just never healthy.
Again, I mean, what? This is Derwin James' 3rd year? Again, too soon to give him that label. Listen, at the beginning of Fred Taylor's career, they called him injury prone, and he didn't end up being that. Adrian Peterson missed 4 games a year. Sorry, I can't sign off on that yet.
Well, the Chargers better figure out something because someone's got to chase the 4x100 team. I'm sorry, the Kansas City Chiefs receiving corps, otherwise known as the United States Track 4x100 team.
I see.
Also, the New York Giants signed Logan Ryan. I think that's a nice little pickup. Mm-hmm. Because here's the thing: Logan Ryan is going to make a lot of fantasy football owners very happy. Why? Because when Logan Ryan gets to guard against Amari Cooper, that means if you have CeeDee Lamb or any other wide receiver, they're going to have a big day. Because as we all know, Amari Cooper doesn't do well against number 1 cornerbacks. Okay, so a division now that has Darius Slay, Logan Ryan, you better hope that he tees off on the Washington football team. Otherwise, if you draft Amari Cooper in the first 4 rounds of fantasy football,
well, the Eagles are pushovers on defense.
Hey, listen, but they got Darius Slay, and Darius Slay's a shutdown corner.
That was sarcasm.
Oh, I'm about to say. All right, so. Well, we've talked NFL because really we don't know what to talk about the NFL because there's no preseason. With no preseason, we don't. It's hard to really gauge talent. And I will be honest with you, that first week of the season, I got a feeling is going to be brutal. It's going to be some bad football.
Absolutely.
Because James Bradberry, like I said, Washington has no secondary. James Bradberry came from Carolina. Okay.
Isn't that the guy that wrote all those mysteries? What is? Oh, no, I'm sorry. That's Ray Bradbury. Moving on.
They probably moved the same, too. I think Ray Bradbury is better in coverage. All right. Me and Colin are going to take a 30-second break here on Beyond the Buzzer. We're going to pay some bills. We're our good friends over at Central Florida Zoo. Look at some tigers and lions and we're back here on Beyond the Buzz here on I-95, Facebook Live, and Zingo Television Channel 198. I'm your host, Dan Thompson. And to the right is my main man, the student of the game from the three-point conversion, my colleague, Mr. Kyle Nash. Kyle, how you doing, my friend?
I'm good, man. Hey, listen, I heard that sigh there. Is the Siberian tiger your spirit animal? You good to go, bro?
No, it's called the Major League Baseball trading deadline. The New York Mets did absolutely nothing. So I have to sigh. We didn't trade the owner. I was hoping we'd trade the owner for a slice of Junior's cheesecake, 6 pieces of fried shrimp from City Island, and a lemon ice to be named later. Nope, a lemon ice to be named later, or at least a Nathan's hot dog or something. Baseball trade deadline happened. Kyle, the first time in a while we talked baseball on the show, and this will probably be the fastest baseball trade segment you're ever going to see on the show ever again. All right, so the Major League Baseball deadline happened, came and went, which is kind of weird because they've only played like 25 to 30 games of the season. So really, you don't know if these stats are going to be legitimized because it's only 30 games of a 162 game season normally. All right, so who are the winners?
30 games is a significant sample. I'm just saying.
I guess. All right, so who are some of the big winners of the deadline? Well, look at the San Diego Padres. Yes, the San Diego Padres. This is your Tony Gwynn version of the San Diego Padres, ladies and gentlemen. All right, led by I think soon to be superstar Fernando Tatis. Listen, they're trying to make a run at the LA Dodgers, and what did they do? They went out and got themselves. They addressed the catcher position, the DH position, and also got some really good arms, including Mike Clevinger from the Cleveland Indians, aka. So for those who don't watch baseball, I'll tell you what the Padres did. They've now solidified their spot in the playoffs, barring nobody gets hurt. Okay. Now there's going to be playoff baseball in San Diego, but the bad part is nobody's watching it because they'll be at home eating fish tacos. All right. teams that did not win the trade deadline. Okay. For once, the New York Yankees didn't do anything at the deadline. With injuries in the outfield of Aaron Judge, Giancarlo Stanton, and Gleyber Torres, and James Paxton all hurt, the Yankees didn't go out and buy anybody this year.
I'm just as stymied as you, bro. I don't know what to make of that.
Hey, me either. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, also, I think we all do. All right. But other moves at the deadline, the Chicago Cubs got Cameron Maybin. The Blue Jays got Robbie Ray from Arizona. And that's pretty much it. So basically, Major League Baseball trade deadline is come and gone. And the real winner is the ones who watch baseball. All right. Like I said, this will be a fastest baseball trade segment we're ever talk about. The Mets and Marlins made flurry of moves. Yeah, right. The Mets didn't change ownership group, so nothing matters to me right now. All right. So, all right, for those who are watching at home, listen, I know it's a rough night, okay, when it comes to life right now. You got the NBA playoffs. As you see, the Heat and Bucks just finished up game one. The Miami Heat took down the Milwaukee Bucks on the road in Orlando, 115-104. The Bucks lose their second consecutive series in game one. Before everybody in Miami decides to burn it down right now, burn down the Bucks championship hopes, it's game one. Okay. All the Bucks have to do is protect home court in game two.
Home court. I see what you did there. Yeah.
And we have an even series. The one problem with this series for the Bucks is, listen to this. All right. Jimmy Butler's going to guard Chris Middleton this entire series. That means the Bucks are going to have to find somebody else to score because Jimmy Butler is playing like a bulldog and a man possessed. He's one of the best defensive players in the league and has a max contract for a reason. They're going to need Dante DiVincenzo. You're going to need Eric Bledsoe. You're going to need Pat Connaughton. You're going to need to find Ricky Pierce, Jack Sigma, Ray Allen, Sam Cassell, Glenn Big Dog Robinson, Vin Baker. You're going to find somebody who's going to score some points other than Giannis. Okay. Otherwise, the Miami Heat are extremely deep. Giannis is different. We can't run over people. Yes, because Giannis has to deal with Bam Adebayo. This is Bam Adebayo is not some softie. All right, the Bucks are going to have to come with it in game two. This is going to be a huge thing because if the Heat take over home court in game three, up 2-0, Bucks are in trouble. All right. Also,
let me say this real quick though, too, Danny. Chris Middleton, throughout a large portion of the series against the Magic, basically was on the back of a milk carton in comparison. Him throwing down 28 with Jimmy Butler covering him, I'd say is a positive. It's Giannis having to deal with Bam. I think that's the difference maker for me. But hey, what do I know? That's my third language.
No, actually, you know what? You actually graduated to your second language, sir. Congratulations. All right. No, why I say the Jimmy Butler situation because it's going to be a 7-game series. It's going to be a long series. And so there's going to be so many. It's not going to be so many games where Chris Middleton's going to score 28 points on Jimmy Butler, and not what Jimmy Butler's going to like.
That is not trash talk on Jimmy Butler by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just surprised you get covered, and then I don't listen. I'd have to look it up at this point. I don't remember him scoring that much against the Magic. Well, and granted, real quick as an aside too, Danny, if I said to you the Magic was going to be the only team that wasn't swept, I would have lost money on that, bro.
You about 98% of the country. The reason why Miami won game one, yeah, Jimmy Butler gave up 28 points to Chris Middleton, but Jimmy Butler also scored 40 on the Bucks.
Of course.
I mean, Jimmy Butler, 40.7 rebounds, Bam Adebayo, 12 points, 17 rebounds, 6 assists in the Heat victory. The real key was Goran Dragic. Listen, we talked about Kendrick Nunn was a top 3 Rookie of the Year candidate, and Gordon Dragic has now taken his spot in the starting lineup. 27 points, 5 rebounds, 6 rebounds, 5 assists. Goran Dragic is looking, and not to mention the free agent year, Goran Dragic is putting himself in a whole bunch of money right now. All right, we all know there's a game 6 going on between the Houston Rockets and the Oklahoma City Thunder right now. All right, so if you're watching that, I get it. Otherwise, if you're watching the versus battle between Brandy and Monica, I understand. Okay, I understand it's culture on the line here. Listen, if you want to mute them for about 25 minutes or so and finish watching us, you can go back and catch it later. All right, now I got that out the way. Let's talk NBA bubble. All right, we have a game 7 tomorrow, and yes, this might be the best game 7 we've had in a while. Why is this, Kyle? The Utah Jazz and the Denver Nuggets are basically throwing up flame shooters the entire series. Donovan Mitchell and Jamal Murray are shooting targets like you would in Duck Hunt on Nintendo. Both players have multiple 50-point games in the series. Kyle, multiple 50-point games in this series.
Yeah.
The bad part was, Kyle, when we left you on Monday, we left everybody on Monday. The Jazz were about to eliminate the Nuggets. The Jazz were up 3-1. Now we have a game 7 tomorrow night.
Bruh, I want the record to show, okay? I said 2 weeks ago with our good friend Chris Pirtle on a Monday that this would be a hard-fought season. I reiterated this past Monday, even though it was 3-1, that it would be a hard-fought series. I look super smart right now on basketball. Okay?
I said you graduate to level 2, sir. You graduate to level 2. Game 7 is tomorrow night. So listen, Jamal Murray's he's averaging like almost 47 points a game in his last 3 games. He's had 2 50-point games in the last 3 games where they needed him. I don't know if Jamal Murray can score 50 points again in another game. It's the first time in this series that 2 guys on opposite teams had scored double 50-point games. Like, I forgot how long it's been. It's been a very, very long time. Listen, the crazy part is the Utah Jazz's Rudy Gobert forgot how to stop playing interior defense. Nikola Jokic is now bringing him out, and Jamal Murray is just knocking down every shot possible. You know what I'm saying? Kyle, he's hit, I think, 25 3-pointers in the last 3 games. It's Houston Rockets-esque. It's been at a high clip and a high accuracy. What does Utah Jazz counter with? Well, Donovan Mitchell has scored 50 points twice in this series, and he's carried an offense that's missing a second leading scorer. Kyle, this is going to be an up and down affair, and to be honest with you, the only player that can save both teams, for the Nuggets, is Michael Porter Jr., and the guy for the Utah Jazz is Joe Ingles. Joe Ingles plays like he's at the YMCA because he has the old man river game. But let me tell you, Joe Ingles can do a little bit of everything. He can shoot, he can pass, he can rebound. He might be the slowest guy on the floor, but trust me, he's probably the smartest guy on the floor on both teams. Michael Porter Jr. is the most talented player of both teams, the most talented player. The question is his first playoff series, and he's had up and down moments. But mind you, the kid can play basketball. There's a reason why he was the number 1 player in high school 2 years ago. A couple of years ago, he was just that good. Game 7 of Nuggets and Jazz is tomorrow night on TNT. I want to say ESPN or TNT. It's the late game tomorrow night because guess what? The series are all boinked right now. When I say boinked, well, we're about to go. We're having game 2 of the Raptors series tomorrow in the second round. The Lakers game 1 hasn't even started yet. And neither has the 2 Western Conference second round series haven't started yet. The Clippers won't play again until potentially Thursday, and if Oklahoma City wins site, the Lakers don't play till Friday. What does that mean? The Rockets and the Raptors and the Celtics could be on game 3 or game 4 before the Western Conference even gets to game 2.
Man, listen, that's just the funniness of what's gone on with the East having so many teams swept and one that wasn't. I mean, it's a scheduling anomaly. Take the night that nights that they set out games away. I don't think that's what the impacting factor is. It's the fact that the East had such uncontested games. Meanwhile, we're still facing with what I picked to be the 2 most dramatic series in the West.
Yes, Mike stands correctly. This is Boston Celtics, Toronto Raptors series. Excuse me. The Celtics series, the Celtics and Raptors. You're correct, Mike. Yes, gotta give you credit for that one. My bad on that one. All right, Kyle. Before we get into more pressing business, let's talk about college football and what's not going on in the Big Ten. Well, happy trails. The Big Ten had talked about. I'm sorry, the Big Ten plus 2. John and 8 plus. Yes, the Big Ten plus 2 decided they were going to talk about starting Thanksgiving football on Thanksgiving. Well, happy trails to the Big Ten football season. Word came out that the Big Ten leaders decided 11-3 that there'll be no college football in the Big Ten this fall. Hey, now we're down to 2 conferences here, ladies and gentlemen. We're down. Well, the Big Ten, they tried to get back together, but it ain't happening. So, Kyle, we're down to what? The ACC, the SEC, and the Big 12 now? Am I correct? The Power Fives?
I think that's accurate at the moment. And here's the thing, Danny Thompson. We were talking about it this time last week about the preseason rankings coming out and including teams that weren't playing at the time. Brother, this is why. You have no idea what's going to happen even still. And by the way, it's mid-August. Now, I think at this point, it's a bit more solidified with what's going to go on. But make no mistake, Danny Thompson, for those of you conspiracy theorists out there, okay, who think that the group of 5 teams are being kept down in the polls, the inclusion of teams that aren't playing could have something to do with that. Granted, at least in the preseason polls. I'm not prepared to say that it'll maintain into the season. I'm not that crazy. But again, at the end of the day, how they're going to handle spring teams, air quotes, you really don't know where this thing's going to go, man.
I think they should go. Listen, the regular season champion of the fall should play the regular season champion of the spring in a game of electric football at this point. All right, let's break it. We're not talking Madden because Madden's got Madden's got a lot of issues right now. If you ask the people who play the game, I didn't see too many issues on my end when I had my version. But I didn't. There's been a lot of versions.
2K Sports makes a better football game anyway. That's where I'd have said it.
I can't with you, LA tonight. I'm not doing it. I won't. All right. All I know is Ohio State's terrible. The Browns are 6-10, and the Browns are 6-10.
Yeah, I got you, Danny Thompson. Listen, Danny Thompson may have a big head, LA Broadus, but at the end of the day, at least he showed up tonight to play. Where are your Buckeyes at? Who?
Trying to find a star linebacker. College football, that might be the best thing Mike DeSantis has said since he's been coming on the show, popping in every single week. You just don't know. You never know from one day to the next. All right, Kyle. Speaking of things not knowing one day to the next, the SEC's Jamar Chase from LSU has opted out of the season. The number one wide receiver across the board is not playing college football again this season. Kyle, like I said, like Mike just mentioned, you don't know. And guys and star players are just opting out left and right. I don't know what to say. Ohio State 0-0, and right now they'll be 0-0 through the full season of college football. So guess what? Mm-hmm. They're not undefeated. They're not playing the BCS, and their winning percentage is 0.
Anyways, there's President checking in, letting us know that if you did stay watching us tonight instead of watching the Versus battle, we are in fact better. Leave it at that. Listen, man, you mentioned
Thanks, Precious.
You mentioned the college players opting out. This is even affecting the group of 5. Memphis's running back, who has the perfect last name for a running back, I might add, Gainwell. I'm not making that up, folks. Gainwell. It's there. It was a headline on 3-point conversion. Check the social media. Trust me. But listen, you're seeing these reverberations all over the place. And listen, for the guys that have a real pro shot, listen, I'm a fan. You need to opt out to not only protect your family, but protect the aspect of your career. I mean,
basically,
we still don't know the long-term effects of COVID that could affect your professional prospects.
Listen, you don't know. Like I said, to Mike DeSantis' point, once again, that's 3 times in one day. Mike DeSantis, ding, 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 you're the winner. Like it's wrestling. With college football, you just don't know. Ohio State voted to play. We know. Now, let's see if Ohio State opts out of the Big Ten.
He's got more excuses than the Cleveland Browns and Baker Mayfield. Anyways. It was my turn. That's why I made
listen, that's what I said. Just, I was going to use LeBron thing of grabbing my suitcase and walking away from the screen, but I'm just not going to do
that. Man. No, then you'd be Kevin Durant. Anyway.
No, I'd be LeBron leaving Cleveland for the second time. All right. What are you going to say? All right. So, Kyle, we talked NBA. We talked college football. We talked NCAA football. Talked the NFL. And we even talked Major League Baseball on the show. Yeah, I know. Well, to catch up everybody on hockey, it's still going on. Woo! Go Islanders. That's all I can say at this point. All right. My Hurricanes are out. There's not much more I can say. Also, U.S. Open opened up today. Big upset, U.S. Open. Coco Gauff, she fell in her first match of the U.S. Open. She lost in 3 sets. It's different. Watching U.S. Open is different because the New York crowd is always completely different. And not to have that energy level, I wonder how that's going to affect players like Serena Williams and Naomi Osaka on the women's side. And Kyle, watching U.S. Open with no Rafael Nadal and no Roger Federer, it just seems weird.
I agree.
It's just weird. But Kyle, it's not weird?
Me kicking butt in Mount Rushmore?
Yes, for those who never watched this show before, it's our favorite time of the show. It is the Mount Rushmore segment of the show, and Kyle and I will sit back and if you never watched Mount Rushmore, shame on you. If you never watched the show, double shame on you.
Get a
And
hold
if
of
you're a
your
friend,
life.
and if you agree with LA Broadus, triple shame on you.
Oh,
All right, let me stop. LA's my guy. That's big shout out to my man LA Broadus with a 3-point conversion. Check him out. Also, his podcast about the Cleveland Browns because that's the only thing positive going on with the Browns right now. All right. Let's go into Mount Rushmore. For those who never met Mount Rushmore before, myself and Kyle will go over what we call Mount Rushmore. So for those who never been to Mount Rushmore, shame on you. Mount Rushmore's 4 presidents. So we take a topic and pick our top 4. It could be a topic of anything because Kyle does know the topic until I tell him.
I do not.
Yes, and we just don't talk sports on these topics. We go from a multitude of different things, from movies to sports to food to cars to beer to drinks and everything in between. So, Kyle, speaking of things in between, it's been a sad year across the country.
Uh-oh.
Because as we get to the fall, we don't have one of the mainstays in a lot of places across the country. And Kyle, that's the county fair. The county fair is one of the city, the state, the county fairs are some of the best things to happen to go on across the country. It's a lot of places in the fall or in the spring. Well, due to our good friend COVID-19 has taken away as our favorite fall time festivals and our favorite springtime festivals, Kyle. So one of the best things about the carnivals is the food. So, Kyle, tonight is the Mount Rushmore of carnival foods.
When you said state fairs or whatnot, I already knew what was going to happen right here. We're fat. It's the fair. What the hell? Listen, let's get right off the bat. There's one classic thing that happens on a regular basis for me. Whether you're at a flea market over here at what used to be Flea World in Sanford, Florida, which no longer exists officially, and it's a sad thing for me, but I digress. One must remember funnel cake. Okay, listen, for those of you that watched Animaniacs, funnel cake. That's all I'm saying. Listen, if you haven't had it yet, listen. The only thing that loves powdered sugar more than French toast is funnel cake. It's a beautiful thing. It's a great time all the way around. And listen, just try not to be on a diet when you have it. I'm just saying. Anyways, going right to it, next up on the list, it's a staple everywhere, but it has to be included on any state fair list. I'm going to go French fries. Listen, when you have to have French fries, they got the crinkly cuts, they got the waffle fries, they got every bit of fry you can do, curly and otherwise. And, with deep fried being the thing that happens at the fair, look out. You might even find a little bit of curly fries with that deep fried action and that battering goodness that you might get at, like, let's say, a Checkers or a Popeyes. The variety, the quality, not usually something you associate with fair food, albeit you'll get it with your French fries. I can guarantee you that. Now, I mentioned deep fried things. If you go to the fair and you don't have something deep fried, well, you obviously don't live in the South. But what I can tell you is this. This is an event that even produced the craziness we know as deep fried beer. It's not what I'm putting on the list, but it's the strangest thing, and I'm putting it here because it belongs. Deep fried Oreos, to me, always kind of tasted wrong. Like, what is this abomination? This black magic that you put before me? I taste it and I feel wrong, as if my very soul has been violated. And yet somehow I can't stop eating it. So definitely got to make the list all the way around with the deep fried Oreo action. At the end of the day, I can see a lot of people going with a corn dog as an honorable mention. I'm only going to put it as an honorable mention. I'm not a corn dog guy, but I'm going to mention it here because my daughter loves them. And, you guys see me rocking my pinky finger. I care about my daughter even when I'm drinking my beer. Anyways, no. But the final food for me, a relatively new phenomenon. Granted, I could be knocked here for excluding desserts, but I put funnel cake. Leave me alone. Something that's coming up that's relatively new that I find really good, street corn. The concept is it's on a stick, like many foods in the fair are. Parmesan cheese, cayenne pepper, all sorts of spice and stuff with a corn cob on a stick. And you have to have something under it. It drips so much with butter and cheese and yay and just no. Anyways, so because Danny Thompson's going to ask for a recap, and I have to do my damnedest not to forget. I'm going to say it myself. Street corn, fries, funnel cake, and deep fried Oreos. Danny Thompson.
Bobby, because you're back in the studio in New Jersey tonight. I know you're back there, Bobby.
What's up?
I mean, Bobby, you're in New Jersey, okay? You are right down the road from the Jersey Shore. So basically, you have a carnival on a daily basis. All right, Bobby.
That's right.
What you got?
Well, the fried dough or funnel cake, we call it Zeppelis up here. The Italian thing. So I'll take Zeppelis. I will take sausage and pepper sandwich they make. You get some kick-ass Boardwalk pizza down here. And yeah, that's about it. The soft serve ice cream is very popular up here.
Hey, listen, you can call funnel cake whatever you want, my Fratello. You do your thing.
All right. And LA Bryce agrees with you, Kyle. He says, Kyle, my man. So
I want to make sure I'm going to give a moment to give him his props. Thank you, LA.
All right. So listen, yes, the team captain of the Carnival Foods, it has to be the funnel cake. All right. There's no ifs and buts about it because you could do funnel cake so many different ways. If you don't want the powdered sugar, you can get the strawberry glaze on it, get the chocolate on it. It is what it is. If you walk through the door of a carnival and don't walk out with a funnel cake or eating 3 or 4, you should be ashamed of yourself. And you ought to pay the carnival for not doing it yourself. All right. Number 2 on my list. Listen, if I go to the carnival, I got to go with the churros.
Okay.
Listen, a fried churro is freaking fantastic. All right. Between them and the elephant ears, they run a neck and neck in their own conference. But I'm gonna go with the churro. All right. That combination of the dynamic pick and roll of cinnamon and sugar on something extremely tasty is a winner. All right. Kyle, you didn't mention drinks in yours, so I'm gonna go with one of mine. You can't go wrong with shaved ice or a snow cone. They're kind of the same thing. Listen, no, stop it.
No,
Stop it, Ricky Bobby.
I'm not saying it's bad. It's just, for one, you said food specifically, and 2, I mean,
it's stuff you get at a carnival.
It's true.
All right, Kyle. You know what? All right, Kyle. Since we're mentioning, Bobby's got something to say on this one.
I'm with Kyle here because that shaved ice, you get a couple of flavors on top. It gets like plain water on bottom. It gets very boring at the end.
Oh, come on. All right.
All right, that much shade. Damn.
All right. Since it's not considered a food, I'm gonna swap out the shaved ice, and I'm gonna go with our good friend cotton candy.
There you go, Danny Thompson.
Listen, cotton candy is the one thing that got me in trouble as a kid when it comes to the carnival because cotton candy was good, but it was extremely sticky. That's what it was. If you have a child, you have cotton candy. Yeah, it gets any kid in trouble. And then if it starts to rain, that cotton candy goodness turned into something really quick. All right. Cotton candy is also something you got to eat real quick because you don't want nothing flying in it. All right. Now it's 3. Now, number 4 on the list. Like I said, I've gone churros. I've gotten cotton candy. And then I went with our good friend, the dag nabbit.
Prep, how are you blowing this?
Oh. Because it's live television.
Oh.
Besides funnel cakes. All right. So what's the fourth and final option here? Listen, I'm gonna get drilled for this one, but you know what? I'm gonna do this with well too. I wanted to say fried Oreos because fried Oreos are freaking fantastic, but they're the 5th overall pick because I'm taking the good old fried turkey leg. Yes, I said it.
I hate you. Wait. Let me stop you right there. Why would I drill you for that?
Listen, some people like.
Listen.
Listen, some people, I didn't say you, some people would prefer, listen, a fried turkey leg. This ain't Thanksgiving for crying out loud, all right? It's fried goodness of a turkey, all right? You deep fry, you take it out, and you eat it like it's the 1700s, okay? Fried turkey legs up there. Fried Oreos is freaking phenomenal, by the way.
Hey, top quiz, Danny Thompson. Over or under 3 times that you pretend to club something with that thing while you're eating it?
I think the damn thing is like Thor's hammer. All right,
which completely changed the. Thor, God of turkey legs.
Listen, if that leg does like a brontosaurus leg from the Flintstones, I don't want it. Elephant ears are flat churros. I said they're in the same conference, Cortland. I said they were in the same conference.
Hey, listen. Our buddy Cortland, and we call him our buddy because we dig the dude. He's
That's my dude.
There tonight. He drank too much of that haterade, man. He's engaged.
LA Broad,
all the haterade.
Speaking of LA Broadus, guess what? I think I might have won. Anything fried wins. Yes. Too bad the Browns can't eat fried footballs because they can't. They wouldn't know what eating.
Thompson, that was cheap. I mean, like, listen. The crispy golden inside is kind of brown. It's the one win he can claim.
No, because no, there's nothing fried in Cleveland that's worth. I mean, Baker Mayfield's career might be fried by the end of the season.
Oh, stop it! Wait, how do you have a head coach named Kitchens and still not have anything fried? What's up?
I mean, the only thing I say about it is because Baker Mayfield might lead the league in frying things because he might be throwing ducks all season long. So fried duck could be up in the eyes of Cleveland this year. All right, Kyle, before we go,
come on.
The one time Rodney's not here, but you know what though? I'm pretty sure Rodney would have something Clemson related on here. He's from Charleston. What more do you expect? Kyle, any shout outs before we go?
Listen, had a great time once again, Danny Thompson. We already did our tributes, so I'm just going to give one more of these, and then I'll be on my way out to get out of your way. Check me out on Twitter, the SOTG. Check me out on Instagram, the SOTG. Check me out on Facebook as the student of the game. And Wednesday night on the Hilarity by Default channel, you can see me and Demosthenes Euclid talking entertainment and movies and such. It's going to be a good time there. Danny Thompson.
And Bobby, before we go, your shout outs.
I'm good tonight.
You are good.
Hello, football. Summer's over with. I just want to watch sports again. Bring on football and Yankees.
He was great. He was great till you said the Yankees. I mean, what can I say? The Yankees are the only team sponsored by Band-Aid.
And
listen, no, because they
as well. Tonight.
Big shouts to everybody that stopped by the chat itself.
Guys, real quick, what do you think of the new background?
Listen, it's a beautiful change. Like I said, it's grown. I'm bluing with excitement.
I didn't open by calling it like black and blue and awesome at the beginning of the show, man. I'm having a good time.
I mean, you gotta think because this conversation sometimes can be kind of brutal. Black and blue might be our calling card, Kyle.
Hey, consider all the punishment you take. Throw your Falcons. I think it's appropriate.
Listen, Cortland, get off the Yankees. Listen, Cortland. Okay, listen. You can't be a Yankees fan in Tennessee. It doesn't work. All right. There's a certain place you should be a Braves fan. Maybe a Pirates fan, maybe even a Reds fan. Astros, Yankees. Stop it. Big shout out to our good friends at 3pointconversion.com. Check out the entire crew over at 3pointconversion.com. Also, check out Kyle and I's work over at 3pointconversion.com. We do have so many articles coming up this week. Get set for our NFL preview starting sometime later on this week. Getting you ready for the NFL season. If you haven't gotten ready, trust me, the entire staff of 3 Point Conversion will get you ready with their team previews as well as.
What division are you covering in those previews?
I will have the AFC South.
I'm sorry.
I mean, it could have been worse. I could have had the worst division of football. I could have wrote about the Oakland Raiders, but I'm glad I wasn't given that assignment. All right. Also, look for our unpopular opinions article. Like I said, we'll have a random group of writers who give our unpopular opinions about different things. Also, check out 3 Point Conversion, 3pointconversion.com. Also, check out my work on Sports Illustrated, SI.com with the Charlotte Hornets. This week will be last week was about James Wiseman and why he's a perfect fit in Charlotte. This week will be on, yes, not Hugo the Hornet, but the biggest star that can come in through Charlotte, LaMelo Ball. So I'll give you all three reasons why the Charlotte Hornets should draft LaMelo Ball. Also, at the same time, we're going on day number 171 with Breonna Taylor's killers being still free. There was supposed to be a plea deal going on today with her boyfriend, and I'm hoping that did not happen. It is time not to arrest her boyfriend for what's going on. It's time to arrest the police officers that killed Breonna Taylor and shot in her house for no reason. So, for myself, keep saying her name, for myself and the student of the game, Mr. Kyle Nash and Mr. Bobby Blackjack up in the studio up in New Jersey, I'm Danny Thompson. And Cortland, don't forget, I didn't forget about you coming on doing Popular Opinions with us. We got you on Thursday. We'll catch you guys on Thursday. Peace out.